to nearly rupees 1,000 crore despite the pandemic, and you aim to grow revenue by 4 times in 22, the fiscal 2022. What is giving you this confidence? Is it the strong order book that you now have?
I mean, bulk combination of things. Again, 80% of our revenue any given month or quarter comes from our existing customers who choose to spend more with us over a period of time. They start small, like let's say they start spending $100, and over the next many quarters they increase that spend to $300, $400. So bulk of our growth comes from there. Just by if we add no new customers, we are able to grow on the back of our existing customers already. As you mentioned, we have an unexecuted order book of close to 5,000 crores, which will all get converted into revenue over the next 6 to 12 months. So our business is highly predictable. We are able to kind of share very predictable 6-month, 12-month forecasts, both internally and externally. All of this is being driven by the shift in the way companies manufacture products. Previously, it was all largely offline. And through the software-led approach that we have kind of pioneered, a big part of that spend is moving online. And for us, we are the only company who offers these companies any digital-led solutions. So that's largely what is leading traction for us.
So revenue. Okay, so revenue is projected to grow 4x. You've also turned EBITDA positive this fiscal, but is this maintainable going forward, Amrit?
Yes, very much so. From day one, we have been generating margins from every order we do. Now the EBITDA is essentially gets amortized over the fixed cost of the company, and at a certain scale, the fixed costs don't grow as much as the revenue grows. So definitely the plan is to grow, but in a highly capital efficient manner. Being profitable is a feature and not a bug of our business model. So, but that being said, we will constantly reinvest back all of those earnings into R&D, and build strong moats for the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay, so profitability a feature for you, not a bug. An interesting comment that you've made in the press statement is that you've said that over the last year, more than 100 Western companies have moved their supply chains to India via Zetwork, across industrial and consumer products. How is this going to boost India's manufacturing sector, and how much of this shift in the supply chains is being driven by the anti-China sentiment, the pandemic impact, etc.?
That's a very interesting question. So, globally, what's happening is most companies have decided to follow a China plus one strategy. That they no longer want to depend on a single country for all of their sourcing needs, and it's very diverse in nature. So, one of our customers is a nail clip manufacturer. A nail clipper is something we don't really think about, but it's a very complex product that has a very complex manufacturing process. On the opposite end of the spectrum, we have customers who service aircraft engine components, which ultimately go into a Boeing or an Airbus. We have medical device companies, we have electric vehicle companies. So it's a very, very diverse range. But what is common across all of these companies is they have decided that they can't put all of their eggs into one basket. And India is increasingly becoming a very important manufacturing destination. All of these 100 companies are buying from India for the first time. So this is real GDP addition to the country that we are driving.
Absolutely, it is good news for India. And lastly, I want to ask you about your targets for fiscal 21. You've talked about your revenue targets. What about the number of customers, the different categories that you want to get into this year?
Yeah, so we are present across a diverse set of categories. Like industrials is 80-85% of our business, and consumer is 15-20%. Within industrials, we serve diverse industries: oil and gas, infrastructure, aerospace, defense, etc. And within consumer, we serve apparel, consumer electronics, and a bunch of different industries. So today we have almost 600 odd customers, of which 100 are international. We would like to double that over the next 6 months to touch closer to 1,000 to 1,200 customers with a similar mix. That's the plan. What's happening today is when we go to a customer and explain our business, most companies have already heard about us versus, let's say, 2 years back, where when we had started the company, hardly anyone knew us. So, today the incremental effort to acquire a new customer is the lowest it has ever been for us.
Okay, so you want to double your international customers in the next 6 months. Amrit, thank you so much for joining us and all the best with those plans. Thanks for coming on Startup Street.
Thank you
Well,
so much.
moving on, online learning platform Vedantu is all set to turn into a unicorn according to Money Control. The firm is in the last stages of raising $100 million at a $1 billion valuation. Sriram Mani of Money Control now joins us with more details. Sriram, over to you.
Yes, hi Mugdha. Thanks for having me. That's right. Vedantu will probably be the next unicorn, to be valued at $1 billion. It's in the final stages of raising 100 million. Of this, 60 million will be contributed by its existing investors, which include, Accel, GGV Capital, Tiger, and 40 million from a new Asian private equity fund. The deal is in its last stages. This is also interesting because there were rumors of, Byju's acquiring Vedantu a couple of weeks back. But I think we can confirm it that this is not happening, that those discussions, virtually didn't happen. And so Vedantu is firmly proceeding with the fundraise.
All right, Sriram, thank you for those details. And of course, we do remember that there were rumors that Vedantu was going to be acquired by Byju's, but Vedantu also had denied those reports very strongly and now is looking at a fundraise that could turn it into a unicorn. Sriram, thank you for joining us with those details. But with that, it's time for us to take a break. On the other side, we bring to you a special chat with Upscaleo's co-founder, Gautam Kshatriya, on the company's recent fundraise, its growth roadmap in the Thrasio model and in the house of brands sector. Stay tuned.